Okay, so these boots, I was kind of surprised at how much they sold for. If you take a look, these are Tony Llamas.
Yo, welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando. And this is a What Sold video sharing some of our greatest sells.
That's right. So we're going to be talking about books, buckles, and boots. We wanted to do a What Sold video of not just like what happened this week or what was the biggest things we've ever sold, but some interesting niches that we're in and some things that we have success with all year round. So we're going to be talking about these three things and how you can make major bucks on books, boots, and buckles. What's our first item, Orlando?
So the first item is a buckle. So I like the alliteration that we had. Yeah. And it really helps out for me to remember what sold. Now, the reason I picked this up is I've been doing a lot of eBay sourcing. So if you're having trouble sourcing at the thrift or at garage sales, you can always look for lots of items. And one of the lots I look for are buckles. And so I picked up a lot of about 100 or so buckles. Average cost was about $3 to $4. Again, you can always make a better deal if you're picking up more. So if you take a look at the picture here, this is a buckle, the great state of Kansas. It has the seal. It has some farming on there. It's brass. And the key thing that made me list this higher is that the brand is Award Design Metals. Not saying that brand always guarantees a good sale, but it's one of the better brands out there when it comes to buckles. So keep an eye. I ended up paying about $4 if you average the cost, and it sold for $56 plus shipping.
Nice. That's something I've never actually sold a buckle yet, and you talk a lot about them. So hopefully after a couple, not even one.
Wow,
hopefully after a couple of these, I'll start looking for them and picking them up. Especially with how jealous you're making me on these buckle sales.
Easy to store and easy to ship.
I believe that. All right. So my first one is and I've talked, if you watch the podcast, you've heard me talk about these a lot, but is a RPG book. And this is West End Star Wars. This is an old from like the 90s. It's discontinued. And if you find discontinued RPG books, they often sell. I paid 50 cents for this book. Actually bought in a bunch of different RPG books. And it was worth going through and picking out and selling them separately. And this one sold for $49. And yeah, probably was about 50 cents average. And again, because it's media mail, it's so easy to ship. It only takes, a couple minutes to throw it in a poly bag. I actually will take a piece of cardboard and just fold it over the book and tape that and then stick it in a poly bag and send it. And it's super cheap because it's media mail and very easy to store. So keep an eye out for vintage or discontinued RPG books, because if it's not in print and people play the game, they're going to want the books.
And again, lots, right? Lots for the win.
It's very helpful, yeah.
So I have one more lot. So this was a lot of a bunch of Colt firearms buckles. It was about a lot of 5. I paid $80. I did pay up. I had to go into a bidding war with a bunch of people. And if you're ever going into a bidding war, there are programs where you can snipe, or always just wait till the last 5 seconds and make sure your bid is pretty high. Because what eBay will do is it'll bid it up to its highest. So I just got involved in one and I lost, but it's okay because I wasn't willing to pay more than $80, and the whole bidding scenario went up to $130, right? So you got to be careful. But I picked up all these 5 buckles for $80, and I sold one of them. If you take a look at the picture here, this is a Colt Firearm 2nd edition, and it was pretty cool because it also came in with that little side handgun piece that came in there too. And this one sold for $60 plus ship. And what was nice, if you can find buckles sometimes that come with, the box that it comes with, it kind of adds, to the provenance of the item. And so it's definitely worth picking up. So lots for the win, because in the end, right, 80 divided by 5, obviously I made money on this one. So we're not getting into the math.
Nice. So what are a couple of the things you're looking for as far as what type of metal, size? Is there certain things? How do you know to pick up this buckle, not another one?
Okay. So comps, obviously you do the comps. So I did the individual comps on this one. I did list mine higher than everybody else's, but there's 2 things that I will say. One is brand. So you got to know certain brands. This one, there are collectors there for Colt firearms and Colt buckles, right? So I've sold them in the past. The second one is when you look at lots, always try to see if you can find 1 or 2 that are going to pay for your whole lot. And if it's possible, then it's worth picking up. Because usually when I pick up lots of buckles, I end up probably like 2 or 3 of them, they're really messed up or something. And either A, I'll toss them, or B, I'll donate them.
Nice. All right, very cool. So my next item is a couple of volumes of Shadow Star. It's a Dark Horse production manga, and I sell quite a bit of manga, but it's really a hard field to be in. So this one I paid $5 for, and I sold for $40. And if you notice, if you're looking at the picture, it's volumes 1 through 4 and 6. Okay, so volume 5 isn't there. And oftentimes when you're buying manga like this, you will find that people usually don't have entire collections. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times, especially if you're looking locally, it's like volumes 1, 2, 7, 19, and 32. And you're like, well, that's not worth any money. And then you think of only selling them individually. But a lot of times you can still lot them together, even though they're not complete in sequence, because for whatever reason, collectors of manga, they have a hard time getting their hands on them when they come out. And so people have incomplete collections, and because of that, people are willing to buy lots that might have the volumes they don't have. So don't be afraid to pick up lots or volumes that aren't complete. If you can pick up a complete set, that's usually worth it, and you're going to be able to do even more. But manga's a tough one because it's some are worth a lot of money and some are worth nothing. If you can pick up several, my rule of thumb is usually if I could pay less than $1 per book, it's worth it. But sometimes people want a lot of money, so you got to be careful. But don't be afraid to sell broken sets.
It's so funny. You pick up manga, I pick up Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys.
That's right.
Right. But you've picked up Hardy Boys before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's good money in there. So bolos too. All right.
BOLO.
Hey, now let's get to boots. And so I've talked about this a lot on Instagram, but if you take a look at the picture, this is a pair of Cody James cowboy boots. You can see that there's even wear on them. Wear on cowboy boots aren't that big of a deal as long as the soles are decent and it's not tearing into the material, right? Because sometimes, you have cowboys that want to wear them out, when riding a horse, or you have a rancher that's working out in the fields. It's really not that big of a deal. Obviously, the more exotic the boot, you want to make sure the condition is better, but again, they'll still sell. So the key thing on these was harness boots, whether they're Harley or whether they're cowboy, they sell well and they sell consistently. So paid $10 for this pair of boots, and it sold, as you can see, for $55 plus ship.
Nice. No, that's an awesome deal. So my next one kind of goes back to my first, which was, it's more RPG books, but this one is a little different because the first one that I showed you was an individual book and I sold it for $50. This is a lot of books. And so this is a RPG game called Heavy Gear, and I was gonna break these up into individual books, and there was like maps and other things that came with it, and I paid $15 for this whole set, and I decided it wasn't worth the time to try and part it out into little pieces, and so I lotted all of these together, and I didn't even do a ton of research on like what sets were involved and if it was missing any. I just took a picture of what was there from lots of different angles, listed a couple of like the bigger, thicker books, what the titles were, and I put it up for $150 and it sold. I think I actually put it up a little more and I took an offer for $150. But yeah, so sometimes it's worth going through and saying this individual book is going to be worth way more than if I tried to lot it all together. And sometimes it's not worth doing that. Maybe I could have made an extra $100 by breaking up into pieces over the course of several years. I didn't want to hold on to them that long or do the research. So don't be afraid to lot things together, because sometimes that's the best way to move it quickly, get that return on your investment.
Maybe we should clickbait lots.
Maybe.
We talk about lots a lot. All right, now we're getting to boots. Okay, so these boots, I was kind of surprised at how much they sold for. If you take a look, these are Tony Lama. So Tony Lama, to me, are bread and butter boots. Like, I will pick up every pair of Tony Lama as long as they're in decent condition and the price is, a good profit margin. Now, these kind of surprise me. I always say list high, and this is why I say list high. You never know what size individual are looking for. So these were a common size, or a size 10, and I saw a lot of people were listing them for 30. I saw some sold on 40. I usually go to eBay too when I check comps. I'm not trying to throw shade at Poshmark, but I find a lot of Poshmark sellers sell their stuff a lot lower. So I found these boots on Poshmark selling for 40, for 50, for 30. And on eBay, I saw them for about 60 to 70, but these were exotic. These were Python snakeskin boots. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to list these high. I listed these for about $134.99, and I took a best offer of $95 plus shipping. So always list high, especially the exotic ones.
Nice. Very good. And my last one is still books, but I'm cheating a little bit because it's actually bookends. So these were some cast.
We'll let that pass.
Yeah. So these were some cast metal bookends, and they were really cool. I actually almost thought I was going to keep this because they were solid. I mean, together they probably weighed like a good 6 or 7 pounds. Like they were heavy. So each one was 2 or 3 pounds. They were pretty heavy bookends, and they looked really neat. They were kind of like a pewter type color, maybe a gray pewter. I don't know. But I decided I would list them. I got them at a thrift store. I got them at a Salvation Army that usually I don't do very well at, but they had these for $2.99 for the set. And so I picked them up and I sold them for $54.90. Nice. And, shipping is a little bit more because they're heavy, but overall it wasn't too bad and definitely worth picking up for $2.99. I don't do lots of bookends, but I do know that there is a market for them, or at least
you
there
have
has
to
been
sort through a lot.
Right. So, to me, these were a no-brainer because they were ones I'd be willing to keep if they didn't sell. But the fact that they were so heavy and solid, so if you're looking into getting into bookends and you don't know a lot about them, you can either spend a lot of time researching each of them, or you can kind of look for the ones that seem to be high quality and just kind of start there.
Yeah, agreed. I miss bookends. I used to sell a lot of bookends. I haven't sold a pair. Actually, I sold a pair last month, but outside of that, it's been a long time now. Let's get to the final one. More boots. Now, I'm surprised that these boots did not sell for less than the Python. I thought the Python were going to sell more. So these are also another pair of Tony Lama exotic boots. These are lizard skin. Okay, so you could also sometimes label it Tehu leather, but these did really well. This was an international sale. Always be careful, though, when you list internationally, because sometimes things will get stuck in customs due to the exotic nature of the pair of boots. So that's why I always recommend doing global shipping program, because the global shipping program, if it gets stuck, it's all good. You're still going to get your money. They're going to get their money. Everybody's happy. So I picked up this pair of Tony Lama lizard skin boots for $10, and they sold for $106 plus ship.
Yeah.
So bread and butter.
That's right. So make sure that while you're out there, you're looking for boots, you're looking for buckles, and you're looking for books, as long as they're profitable. And let us know down below in the chat, what are some other what sold type videos you want to see, or any kind of video that you're interested in. We'd love to, produce the content that you guys are interested in.
And as always, make sure to be real,
be relevant,
and be reselling. Peace.